they basically said that you need to go to the hospital. And I started crying because I didn't want to go. And I'm like, well, can my husband drive me? We're 10 minutes away. They're like, honey, you won't make it. And then when I did come back down to the medical step down unit after ICU, the nurses and doctors were like, oh, we are so happy to see you. We didn't think we'd ever see you again. They counted me out. They thought that my case was so bad that I wasn't going to make it.
And so I believe that God gave us this vision, this dream, because so many people need hope in the cross. Everybody know what the cross represents.
We can change the world. Let's go. We can do it. Matter of fact, we will. Yes, this world bleeding in my God can heal. Yes, every time when I'm out in the field, the heartbeat from the people saying, "Oh, so real." Let's go. Man, we can change the world. Got to do it for the boys and girls. God has a sentence for your life. He sends you out to spread light. So we can change the world. Yes, we can change the world. We can change the world. Yeah. We can change the world. That's right. We can change the world. We can change the world. Yes, we can change the world. Hey. Change the world. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Your Story right here on Testimony House, where we tell the story inside of God's people out in the world. My name is John Simmons, and I'm so thankful that you've joined us on today's program. And like always, we have a brand new slate of people here in 2022 to share their testimonies with us. Tonight's guests, Jacob and Sarah Cooper. They have an interesting story of overcoming COVID and starting a business in the process. So we're going to talk to them on tonight's episode of Tell Me Your Story. Jacob and Sarah, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Well, I'm doing good.
We're doing really good. We're alive. We're breathing. We're making it through it, you know?
Yeah, blessed.
Yeah. Amen. So let's go back to August of 2021. A string of incidences put you guys in the hospital. Tell us that story.
So basically, I was sick for a while, and never for a second did I think that I actually had COVID. I thought I had upper respiratory infection or something. So I went to the ER. They did a test. It came back positive. So they sent me home with one of those little O2 sensors on your finger. About 2 days later, my health just starts crashing. Well, when you go through the hospital that we go through, they text you every day, make sure you're all right. So we messaged them and said, hey, my vitals are horrible. I can hardly breathe. They're like, we need to see you virtually, like right now. So they saw me, and they basically said that you need to go to the hospital. And I started crying because I didn't want to go. And I'm like, well, can my husband drive me? We're 10 minutes away. They're like, honey, you won't make it. You need to call 911 right now.
Wow.
And in that moment, it was just so emotional because I didn't know when I was going to see my husband again. I didn't know when I was going to see my kids again, because I knew my husband would not be able to go with me. And someone had to take care of the kids, because we've got 3 kids, 2 with special needs. So we got there in the first week and a half. I didn't even speak to them because I had a full face mask on. I couldn't even speak. Like, even if I needed to call the nurse on the button in the hospital bed, like, they couldn't understand me because of the mask. I couldn't vocalize myself. So I was isolated didn't get to see anyone for 18 days. And I finally got to see my husband on like the 19th day, went home on the 20th. During this whole time, he's praying, God, give me a business, guide me, just give us a business, something else. I think he knew that in the long run that I was going to need some extra help, that we may have to do something else on the side. And so he's praying the whole time. God's not giving up the answer, because it's all on God's time, not ours, which is completely different. As people, we're very impatient. Yeah. So it wasn't till, the 20th day, he came to pick me up, and I'll tell the little story. He brought our 9-year-old, which I had not seen since before I left the hospital, and they have me in a wheelchair, and I see her crying through the window of the car. And she about had the nurses crying too. I told her it was okay. She came out of the car and like crawled in the wheelchair with me. I was still hooked up on oxygen. Before I could even go home, like, we had to call a number so that people could meet us at the house with equipment, because I was going home on oxygen. So I wasn't like out of the window. Like they talked about intubating me 3 times. Um, when I went into the hospital, I was supposed to go into ICU. There were no ICU beds, so they were taking care of me on a unit that was not prepared to take care of a severe case like mine. And then when I did come back down to the medical step down unit after ICU, the nurses and doctors were like, "Oh, we are so happy to see you. We didn't think we'd ever see you again." They counted me out. They thought that my case was so bad that I wasn't going to make it, you know? And so just all those different times that I was counted out makes me feel so thankful every day that I wake up and
Yeah.
that I don't have tubes and machines connected to me. That in itself is such a blessing. But so I get home, and my husband's explanation to why God did not answer his prayer was because while I was in the hospital, we were separated. And when I came home, we were two flesh and one again. Um, so when I came home, I had the vision for the business, and then God gave him the name of the business in a dream. And I will tell you, we have done everything with purpose and excellence. You may not be able to tell right off the hand that we are a Christian business, but if you pay attention to the products we sell, we very much are, because we do everything with purpose and excellence
Yeah.
in everything that we do. And we love to share our testimony because we've made God our foundation for our business. And because we have, like, things I would have never foresaw me being a business owner in my life.
Yeah.
And and now, like, things are going well. We're even adding to our lines and different things, and our little 9-year-old is going to have a candle line too. So things are just going really wonderful, and
That's
we're just
great.
feeling thankful every day.
The
It's a
thing is
interesting
with hope.
testimony. I
So
want
the
to
thing is with hope. Sorry.
it's okay. I know there's a bit of a delay here, so let me back up for just a second though, because I know if I was watching this and I hear, my wife was in the hospital for 20 days, and it's such a scary thing, and you're away from your family and your kids, and you don't know what's going to happen, and everybody's counting you out, and then I hear you talk about praying for a business idea. That's not where many of us go in that spot, right? So walk to us, through your faith and your prayer life in that moment, to give people an understanding for where you were trusting and putting your trust in God in that moment.
So the thing was, I was really depressed for 3 days, really bad. A lot of pastors encouraged me, saying, "Hey, if your spirit's down, her spirit's going to be down." So I began to fight. They told me to fight in prayer, and I literally just fight in prayer, and I constantly fought in prayer, just seeking God and what to do, and just trust in him. The two scriptures he gave me was trust in the Lord and lean not on my own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will guide your paths. And then, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for a hope and a future, not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future. So those two scriptures I really stood on, of trusting God in this. That's where the faith came in. People encouraging me and saying, like, look, you need to fight.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
And every
Scriptures out.
day that I was in the hospital, he was marking down anytime the doctors or nurse said anything positive to say. He would write down what was reported every single day that I was in the hospital too.
Yes.
So you are standing on verses from Proverbs and Jeremiah. You guys are believing for healing. Eventually, you come home and you're still dealing with the repercussions of this. But in the midst of this whole thing, so this idea for Hope in the Light Candle Company is birthed. And so, walk us through why that was an important thing for you to pray for, and sort of the origins of how you launched it.
I think honestly, praying just for a business, because I knew that my wife was going to have to go through some therapy, some different things. Um, that's basically it. I mean, really just trusting God and believing that he's going to make a way. Um, I didn't, you know, I don't know about the business. I did pray for a business, but I didn't know nothing about what was going to come about. I just trusted God on and standing on His word.
So tell me what you guys knew about candles before God gave you this idea.
Nothing,
Nothing.
not nothing.
Not a thing. And I am known for no matter what is going on, I will deeply research everything. And I did. I started writing down the temperatures and I started researching which are the best companies. And our candles, majority of them do have essential oils in them. We've had people report that they like them better. People who've had issues breathing with certain candles before, that they like these much better. But we do the natural soy with it. And the special thing that we do, because we talk about hope in the light, is we put a cross necklace inside the wax. So when it's melted halfway down, there's a little foil packet. And when you open it up, there's a cross necklace awaiting for each person that lights one of our candles.
That's
Yeah,
so neat.
and the thing is, with hope in the light, a lot of people right now need hope. And so I believe that God gave us this vision, this dream, because so many people need hope in the cross. Everybody know what the cross represents. So even an unbeliever, I believe that an unbeliever, you know, and a believer believes and knows what the cross is. So I believe that it's going to touch many people in some kind of way.
Amen for that. Tell us how your relationship with God has grown in the season of you overcoming a COVID diagnosis and hospital stay in the season since.
Man, it's a it's grown. I don't know really what to say. I believe that we go through things just as Jesus was in the wilderness. We go through these things that God trains us and just teaches us on faith. You know, believing, having faith without the unseen. And I don't know.
For me, being isolated in the hospital, like not being allowed to leave my bed for 20 days, left a lot of time for crying and praying.
Yeah.
um, it really did, because you can only watch so much TV. And when you, and I will add, like, I knew that there was a chance that I might not make it through. And I think the most terrifying thing was for me, because I knew where I was going to go if I passed. But for me, it was horrifying because I was isolated with my family and I couldn't communicate, or I wouldn't have been able to tell them goodbye. And
Mm.
so, and then on top of not being able to breathe and relying on numerous machines to make sure that you have life, like, that was so scary. I do feel like I look at life a little bit differently. I try not to sweat some of the smaller things, and even though I'm still battling some medical issues from long haul COVID, because people who typically are in ICU and depend on oxygen end up with some other side effects from it. um, I'm still thankful every day that I can wake up and there's oxygen in my lungs without a tube or a machine, and that I'm home around my family. Um, like Christmas, we did completely different this year. We warned the kids we're only going to buy one present. Present. That's not what Christmas is about. And we don't even have a tree in our house. We actually have an 8-foot cross that we keep in our living room. It's a great reminder of how we should be living every day. And so we normally put our gifts around the cross every year, but we warn them, hey, this is a special Christmas. Not only is it Jesus' birthday, but I get to be here to make memory with all of you this year. So we played a lot of board games that day and watched movies, and that's how we celebrate. We didn't even do a big meal. It was just all about having family time and making memories. So I would say it changed quite a bit how we do things,
I've
which
been
family
to,
was always important, but
sure.
yeah, it was more so definitely this year. And I have a birthday coming up. Always hated birthdays, but I feel like this birthday is going to be a little bit special.
Yeah, well, you're able to appreciate life maybe a little bit differently than you did before, you know. And I've been to a lot of church services or a lot of prayer meetings, and I can't tell you how many times, and you probably have heard this, you know, I'm thankful God woke me up this morning. I'm thankful for breath in my lungs. And I mean, how much more pointed is that prayer now for someone like you who really had issues with breathing and different types of things? That really brings it home, right?
Oh, definitely. Like, I literally could not get air. I still have inflammation in my lungs. My oxygen levels are doing better, but there's some heart stuff. My heart is pumping too fast because my heart is just rampant, that it's not getting oxygen to the other parts of my body. So it almost feels like a panic attack or like I'm not getting oxygen. But when you hear those songs come on that talk about, being thankful for the oxygen that he puts in our body and waking up every day, that just means something completely different to me. It really does. I'm really just thankful for every day because I know I didn't have to have today. And so I'm so thankful to have a second opportunity, but at the same time, I don't want to waste this second opportunity. We want to be able to have this business, use our testimony and share it with other people to inspire and encourage. And even for myself, every month this year, I'm doing something different. This month I'm giving up, it's my, I guess, my way of fasting. I have blood sugar issues, so I can't truly fast. I'm doing no sugar, no carbs, no caffeine, but every month I want to do something different to better and invest in myself, because you're only given one body. And I feel like we should treat our bodies more like a temple, and we fill our bodies with junk and don't take care of it. So now that I've been given this other opportunity, I really want to do the best that I can to take care of me. And in return, I'll be able to take care of others.
Hope in the Light is the name of the candle company. We let everybody know where they can find you guys online and maybe purchase a candle if they're interested in doing so.
So we're on Facebook on Hope in the Light. We're also on Instagram within a couple weeks. We will also have a website. Jake, does that one have candles on it, or is it just Hope in the Light?
HopeInTheLightCandles.com.
We have so much going on social media right now. And this is our old logo. We're getting a new logo, so we're trying to do things right so that we stand out, and so that we don't look like anyone else, so that people recognize us when they see our logo. And we are just so excited for what God has for our future, honestly.
Yeah, I love the idea of the cross being in the candle. It's also in the living room, the 8-foot cross. So I'm just like really appreciating all that you guys are doing to share the love of Jesus with the world. Even in little things, you wouldn't think the candles would have that much of an impact as far as light goes, the kingdom, but God uses even the littlest things to provide faith in the hearts of those who are looking for it. So I want to say thank you to you guys for sharing your testimony with us here tonight.
Oh,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up. I really appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I know that that's not always easy to do, but sometimes it's fun.
Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you have anybody else you've run across who has a story to share or something, feel free to connect us or send me an email. Hey, reach out to this person maybe. I'm always looking for new people to share their stories.
Okay.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Have a blessed evening.
You too. Should probably record that. An amazing testimony from the Coopers. COVID's been going around for 2 years now. This is the first person we've talked to who's overcome a significant battle with this disease. And so we're so thankful it did not take the life of Sarah and Jimmy's parent. I did this once already, and it was fine the first time, and I got to redo it. What an amazing testimony from the Coopers, overcoming a COVID diagnosis and hospitalization. Thank goodness they are still here with us today. Their children still have mom and dad to wake up to and be with every morning, and we're so thankful for the healing that God's placed in their bodies. But how awesome is it that in the midst of all that, and I love how God just continues to move no matter where we are in our lives, and we see this throughout the Bible. People are in difficult situations, but God is still revealing things to them. And so God revealed a candle company to these, a business, an idea for something in the middle of their trauma. And so I'm so thankful for God to be able to talk to us like that and encourage our faith to walk something like that out. As they said, they knew nothing about candles, but isn't it amazing how God will put an idea into us? Usually it's not an idea that we would look for to put ourselves out there to do, but man, it's so amazing when you start to walk out God's path for your life, the avenues and the streets and the roads that it takes you. And now they're in a successful candle business. And so thankful for them for sharing their story today. And so if their testimony has been a blessing to you, imagine what God can do in your life. Oh my gosh, John, why can't you land the plane? An amazing story from Jimmy and Sarah Cooper. They went through a traumatic COVID diagnosis and hospitalization, but what God did to overcome through their bodies is amazing. It's a tremendous testimony. Even more so, the fact that they started praying for a vision from God so that they could overcome the trials, because their faith was so strong that she was going to overcome, that they were able to trust God for even more things in their future. And we see this throughout the Bible. No matter what we're going through, God is with us. He's always available to give revelation knowledge to us. And it isn't amazing that these two people who knew nothing about candles, God said, you know what, I'm going to use these to make a candle business, and they're going to spread the love of Jesus through this candle business. It's an amazing story, one where any of us can be encouraged or inspired, really, to reach out to God no matter where we are in life and say, God, what do you have for me tomorrow? Because I trust that you're with me always. So if this has been a blessing to you, please share it with someone else. If you have a story that God has done something in your life, we'd love to hear from you. info@testimonyhouse.org is the email. We're so thankful for everybody who shared their story, but we're looking forward to making even more videos in 2022. So we want to say thank you for watching this video today. Until next time, we pray you discover a future and a hope for your life today.